thank my fellow employees and researchers. As a dedicated team, we're inspired. We think that we are making history. We're onto something truly extraordinary. And innovation and breakthroughs does not come from conventional wisdom. Think of this, it's the minority that always pushes the envelope. Conservatives have their role in society. They're protecting that which has given them stability. And those who push the envelope are disruptors. But I suggest to you, it's the minorities that always push innovation and change, push the envelope, are on the frontiers of knowledge, sacrificing themselves because of the expense and the probability that they'll fail, but they're able to bring this forward. We need to protect our minorities. The biodiversity of our ethnicities and our cultural backgrounds is absolutely critical for us to push the frontiers of medicine and science into the future. How many Einsteins have we lost? How many Einsteins are in this room? For those of you, as you age, with all that experience, if you have that knowledge intact to be able to pass it down and hand it off to the next generation, I think you can smile, as I hope to, on my deathbed, knowing that I did everything I could. I handed this knowledge as one person in a long lineage of knowledge keepers to be able to help future generations. Our ancestors are calling back from the past. Our descendants are calling back from the future. This is our time. We need a legal system. We need the guardrails. Psilocybin is not for everyone. 70% of the people on average have a great experience. 30% of the people do not. We need to have quality controls. We need government regulations. A few weeks ago, I received my Drug Enforcement Administration license, so I'm now able to legally research psilocybin. Because I think also one of the reasons, not only do I have a long history, but I came up with a mantra a long time ago. Nature provides, I don't. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychotherapist. Those of you who are, what a complex ecosystem you have to deal with. I'm not skilled in that. I'm a mycologist, I'm an inventor. I like to think outside of the box and push the envelope. I may not always be right, I don't have to be. I don't have to worry about tenure. I own my own company. But it gives me the liberty of exploration and imagination. Let's all imagine a future. We're at our time. We are at a time critical. You know, I think that we are at a time now that we have to invent solutions that will help our species and descendants survive. Failing that, our species will also fail. But I have hope. Psilocybin is a game changer. All of you who are involved in the psilocybin movement, help protect it, help have discipline, help have other people have discipline. When you see them going astray and off the guardrails, don't marginalize them, don't humiliate them. Reach out a hand in kindness, bring them back into the fold, and saying these are sacred, powerful medicines that need to be shepherded with kindness, courage, and wisdom. I want to thank you very much.
For a second.
Yeah, sure.
So, first of all, Paul, I want to thank you for being someone who's helped imagine the future and create it and be a true disruptor. We were lucky to start our opening evening here with Leroy Hood, and you are a different form, but just as important form of disruptor. So we want to give you our very second official Next Med Health Disruptor Award. So, Paul Stamets, Next Med Health.
Thank you.
And we have a lot of folks who are imagining the future and seeking to be disruptors in similar or different forms. Can you just synthesize some of those lessons learned? Because now we see psychedelic studies at Mass General and Johns Hopkins and other surprising places. Any kind of lessons learned in taking things from imagination to disruption?
Well, the biggest challenge I think that clinical trials face with high doses of psilocybin is whether or not the placebo double-blind controlled model is accurate and useful. I would challenge all clinicians who are involved in placebo double-blind controlled studies, like with niacin. In 20 minutes, if you're suffering from treatment-resistant depression, which by definition means there's no treatment, you're at the end of your rope. You want to be in a clinical study that's going to help you, and then 20 minutes later, you realize you got the placebo? What's the ethics for physicians who are actually exacerbating the depression of the patients they're trying to help? I think that's a real big ethical, challenge there. One person in our circle, thank you so much for that person who mentioned this in our breakout, mentioned maybe we should use ketamine as the other, control. I thought that's really interesting. We need to have something where people cannot know that they have been given the placebo because it's no longer a placebo. And then what is the chasm between the signal of psilocybin in treatment versus the placebo of those individuals who are now more depressed? I've never seen that ever published. There has been several examples of suicides with the MDMA study in the placebo group. Well, maybe they became more depressed and became more suicidal. So I don't envy physicians' positions on this. They are facing a really difficult situation. But if the end result, even with microdosing, is a reduction in depression and anxiety, improvement of mood, isn't that the goal of psychiatrists to confer to their patients? So I think there's a new model here that needs to be generated, and people much smarter than myself in this audience can probably come up with a lot of ideas. But anyone designing clinical trials for psilocybin, please bear these words in mind. Let's help work together to be able to come up with a solution. That's it.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, thank you.